Let's see the quick demo of AI agent upgrade your specific skills. So here you can see over here I just upgrade my AI specific skills, and I just get that response based on my upgrade that AI skills. So that we will try to implement over here. So yeah, let's get start implementation. So before I start implementation, I especially recommend, if you first time visit my channel, so go to my channel, which is .NET Real World Example. And then here you can see there is a many things like AI agent, how can create agent in your any application and integrate any application as a AI agent, AI integration as a front end, back end, as a full stack developer. So yeah, you can just many things you can learn over here. So now moving to start implementations. So let's get started. So first of all, actually there is a two requirements over here. First, actually you have to require, like either you have a local AI setup like your LLM model. If it is set up in your local, that is fine. If you don't have, so you can go with the Azure OpenAI as well. So I'll show you that both how we can integrate in this AI agent upgrade your skills. So with this local LLM along with their OpenAI, Azure OpenAI. So yeah, I already set up actually my local as a Olama with this this couple these are simple models. So if you go to over here, and I can show you, so simply I can check Olama list. So here a couple of models, so you can just take it whatever models best model, so you can choose it over here. So yeah, that's fine. And now second is, let me just open a Visual Studio, because I'll just create this application as a Visual Studio, or you can use VS Code as well, but yeah, I'll just using over here as a Visual Studio. And yeah, this time I'll just create a simple console application, but yeah, later on I'll just create another normal Blazor application or any web application and all. So here I'll just show you as a initial stage, so how we can integrate easily AI agent with this their skills upgradation. So using the console application, next, and simply just create a name over here. So I'll just make it that AI agent skills, that is fine, and whatever name you can just refer, you can use it. And currently I have .NET 10, so I'll just use .NET 10, and simply I can just create it. First of all, I just want to my skills, so let me just, I have already handy, so I'll just create this skills folders over here first along with their files. So simply if I just paste it over, now see, if you just expand, so I can just create this skills over here. So now I have that assets. So in this skill main folder, root directories are skills, and inside that expert expenses reports look like an asset and reference. So expenses report would be like this is expenses report template, and this is my policy questions, and this is my skills main skills file. So if you go to one by one, so for example that expenses report, so see how look like I want to expenses report. So this is that format actually I want to update my agent, so always they look for this format. Next, whatever that frequency policy, it is questions, and over here answer, so I have already put over there, so they will just get it from here, and accordingly they will answer it. And then there is a final skill section where I just use or some kind of some templates, and here that whatever the categories and filling the reports and then policy rules and all I just defined over here, right? So simple, whatever actually you want, so just keep it as a folder and place it over here. And make sure one thing, as a .NET application, definitely this whatever you just add it in your skills and files and all, definitely once you run or once you build it, it should be keep it in your local bin folder. So for that actually you can just simply go to that property and go to here, and simple you can just change to this build actions to as a container or content, and then you can just use a copy as a newer, right? So yeah, first time actually if you file this new file, so it will just you know, build as a resource in your applications, right? Similar I can just do same things for other files as well. So yeah, go to this, Okay, so here also I can just change to contain, and this is the last one. Okay, and make it same as like we have done, and that's it. Okay, so now the create the skills in your applications done, and also this make it as an resource. Now we are good to go to write our create agents, and then based on that on our local provider or Azure OpenAI provider, we can just call it and we can utilize. So for that, uh, we require couple of dependencies, like some packages I required. So I'll just first of all let me just install those package. So nothing special package is required, simply these 2 3 packages required. First is Azure AI OpenAI, right? And this is coming from browser section, and here I just simply install that. Now another one is I also referred for Azure OpenAI, so definitely we have to require this Azure identity. So simply I can just install this one also. And one last package we required over here, which is Microsoft Agent AI OpenAI, and this is that one. Okay, and simply I can just install that. So once you complete your package, now go back to in the program.cs file, and in here I can just start my implementation. So first of all, I'll just create uh, this variable where I can just put it over here, my endpoints, and my endpoints actually basically. So I can just add over here, see. So let me just minus over here. Yeah, so see, simply I just use as a endpoints, I just create as variables and the endpoints, and in this endpoints I just currently I'm just using a local LLM, right, which is I hosted my local. So that's why whatever URL I have, I just add it over here. And if you want to use in your OpenAI URL, so definitely you can just refer this line of code over instead of this one. Okay, just replace to this, and also just keep it your open URL in your local environment, right? And once you get it, so you will retrieve over here. Same things over here for that models. So this is that model also, you can just retrieve from your local environment. And if it is using your local one, so definitely you can just forcefully add it over here. So yeah, I'll just use this LLM 3.2. If it is not found this over here, so definitely I specifically is mention over here I want to go with the LLM 3.2 over here. So yeah, variable part is done, like as a configuration. Next, skill provider. So for that skill provider, definitely whatever actually we just create a file and so all, right? So that we have to retrieve over here. So that is I can use it this file agent skill provider, right? And in here I can simply get that my current file directories, and also mention whatever that directory name, and from that only I just pick it all that files over here as a skill provider that I'll just using in my agent. Okay, that's it. And yeah, definitely currently actually it is a as a given some burning issues, so that we can resolve using this burnings, because currently it's as a release mode, right? So that we can just ignore as a burning using this burning ignorance. And yeah, so this is a skill provider also we have set. Now what I can do, now I have to do that agent setup. Okay, so for that agent setup, so for Azure OpenAI, right? So if you using the Azure OpenAI, so I can use this this is an Azure OpenAI client, and here I can just simply use my endpoint instead of this using that this one. Actually I have to use this one over here is for your reference. Okay, so yeah, if you using Azure OpenAI, simply you can just use Azure endpoint, right? And then also use the default credentials. Okay, and this is for Azure, right? And if you using your local LLM, so definitely I need to use this one. Okay, so yeah, only just difference, see, this OpenAI client and Azure Open client, right? So specifically you use the Azure Open AI, so you can use this client, and if you don't want to use that Azure OpenAI local, so you can use the OpenAI client. That's simple. And in here again you can just use API key credentials. So yeah, that in our local LLM definitely we don't require any key and also you can just simply pass as a local or default Olama key. And then this is that options and settings which you have to pass this endpoint and passing your endpoints which is coming from here. That's it. Okay, so now our endpoints also sets. Now once you're done, now what I can do, I can just simply create my agent and pass it to our you know agent provider, or sorry, skill provider, right? So I'll just simply create a agent over here, like whatever AI agent. I just converted to AI agent, but yeah, simply use the my client and using that get response client and pass in my deployment name, which is whatever models, and then use as AI extension method, which is have name of the skill agent and chat options, whatever the chat options you can use instruction and all. And this is that important part, AI context provider, which I just provide my skill provider. So whatever skills I have, I just provide our skill provider in my agent. That's it. So this is how actually it is working. And again, this is some warning issues, so yeah, I can just ignore this warning using this here. Yeah, I can just simply use this warning disable. So yeah, because currently it is on a pre-release mode, so might be that's the issue. But yeah, so yeah, once you provide your warning disable, so yeah, it will be gone. So once you're done, now your agent got ready over here. Now we have to call for that my specific requirement. So my first requirement over here, we are will checking that expenses of policy in from that frequency over here. So what I can do, simply I can just use console output and just formatting some here, and then here I can use this my agent, call that agent using the run method, and I can just pass it over. Okay, so are the tips reimbursable, or I left 20% and all that is cover or not. So simply I can just ask one questions over here and ensure your local LLM is running. So now my local LLM is running over here. I can see this logs as well in my Docker container. And yeah, simply what I can do, I can just run this application. So once you run my application, so here my output over here, and yeah, it's just getting populated my here, and then it is just waiting for agent response. So let's wait for that agent response. So now I can get my response over here. If you see over here, so now this is a expense agent that expense report instructions. So this is that expansion report instructions, and after that actually this is that policy rules they just providing, and auto rules over also this providing, and this is look like actually that's complete response, right, based on my skills updation on to agent. So similar, I'll just test another one, like for example, let me this time just are you asking to know are the tips on reimbursement and all, right? Now we have to ask another response, for example, over here. Now let me just comment it out over here. Don't worry, they'll this repo I just share with you, so you can take it my GitHub link. So yeah, so now what I can do, I just again just simply formatting, and this is a filling and expenses reports, and then I just again call that agents, and this agent actually we can just use as a it's like also I'll just using that agent session, so that I can use that multiple, like first agent is work this, and then this same agent again this and create another session for this agent, and then give it that response as well, right? So yeah, here I just ask a different question, like I had three client for the dinner, and this is that this and all, and it will also get that response based on the skills. So let me run this application. So now I am getting that response also for this over here. So now this time the expenses report policy as a following this, right, and this, and now this is that final response over here. So yeah, I think that pretty much good for that newly started upon update your skills. So even also if you see this is my local llama, and it is just got response based on my agent calling over here. So yeah, that pretty much good. You can just get started, create an agent and then also upgrade your agent using this, skill provider. So that we will enough for this, as an initial level. But yeah, later on definitely we will integrate in my real world example, or in my web applications, or any kind of implementation where we have that UI provider and all. So that pretty much good. Thank you. Have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.